Yo, what's up with y'all, man? I hope you're doing good. If you're new and you're a fan of the NBA, subscribe to this channel. So let's get straight into it.
It's like it's Minute Maid, hijack 4, renegade, 24, number 8, Kobe shit fade away. Ballin' since 11th grade, still in school, let them hate.
Who am I fooling? If you know me, of course you know that I can't get straight into it without having some type of plug. So today, no, I'm not plugging my clothing brand, even though you should check it out. I am instead plugging a brand new podcast I am doing with Rusty Buckets.
For me, I think I would rate this final series a good like either 6.5 or 7, only because there are a lot of moments that like clutch moments that got me up out of my seat.
The first episode probably comes out today by the time that you're watching this. So right after this video, I'm gonna need you, my boy, watching this thing right here to go ahead and click the link, the first link in the description, to go subscribe to that channel where you'll find all the other episodes. Oh, the first one at least. So as we all know, the NBA draft is creeping up on us, and no more taking breaks from here on out until that day comes. So I'm gonna have to continue this marathon with a little bit more urgency if I want to release all of these ideas trapped in my head right now in a timely manner. Up next on my list of videos is, ding ding ding, you read it right, the best and worst case scenarios for these 2019 NBA draft prospects. Now, as us humans continue to try to go through our day-to-day lives, we're always faced with these best and worst case scenarios. When it comes to almost everything, if you think about it that way. Usually though, for just me at least, I don't even think about a worst case scenario type of thing happening at all, because I'm just wired that way. Today though, I'm going to put my mental on the line for you and rewire it so I can discuss to you about the best and worst possible case scenario for these prospects' career once they enter the league. Zion Williamson, arguably, low-key, and arguably the highest potential out of everyone in the NBA draft. He's entering a league that favors players at his size. Wings. Some of the greatest players and most impactful were wing players, and they are all-time icons. Things couldn't have played out better for Zion. He's by far the best athlete in this draft period, compared to the pool of prospects available. Zion's best case scenario is, it's pretty scary. I'm not lying to you. This man has, what, top 3 player in the universe type of potential in the league one day. Multiple time MVP potential. The amount of pros in his game are multifarious. And yes, that is a word. I swear to God, I did not make that up. I just Googled it on Google. I'm just trying to expand my vocabulary. Just leave me alone. Anyways, his skill on the court is multifarious, and his weaknesses are minimal and very fixable. Best case scenario for him is becoming a top 5 to 3 player in the world, and being the best offensive and defensive player on a championship level team. Having a chance to average 25, 10, and 5, and maybe even more at his peak in the NBA, leaving his mark as an all-time dominant figure in NBA history. What if, just what if things go left though? What if the pressure just crumbles him? What if injuries start to disintegrate his knees way quicker than experts thought? All of those horrible things could come into fruition and be the reality of his future. He could be another what if because of the injury risk that he is. Instead of being on an all-time great list, his name could be featured on another list. An all-time could have been great list. Zion's name could appear next to the D Roses, T-Max, and etceteras of the world. That is the absolute worst case for Zion Williamson in my opinion. Ooh, damn, I'm not gonna lie, things just got a little bit depressing. Let me pipe it up real quick. The best case scenario for RJ Barrett's career is that all of his flaws turn into his strengths one day. Plenty of future All-NBA team slots will be waiting for him in the future, if that is the case. And so will All-Star appearances and maybe even champions, leaving his mark as one of, if not the greatest Canadian hooper of all time. The pace and positioning preference favors someone of his stature. Worst case scenario though, he becomes extremely mediocre, mid, and turns out to be a slightly above average starting level small forward or shooting guard in the league. No disrespect intended whatsoever, but if literally every single thing known to man possible was to turn out to go bad, this, whoo, man, I'm scared to say it. You know what, screw it, I really don't care about the criticism in the comments that some of y'all may give me. Kent Bazemore if he was born in Canada. An aggressive one at least, and even though that may be the case, that's still hella disappointing. Better than him, of course. I wouldn't disrespect nobody's name like that. Everything people like me in previous videos said about RJ's flaws could carry on throughout his career and be what's holding him back from being the dude everyone envisioned him to be. That is the worst case scenario for RJ Barrett. On to the last Dookie. Damn, that did not sound good at all. What did I write, man? On to the last Duke player is Cameron Reddish. This is simple and straight to the point. The best case scenario for him going into his NBA career is that he surpasses one of his Duke teammates and fulfills the PG-esque comparisons he's been entrenched with these last few weeks and becomes something similar to that. Of course, his own version, his own flavor. A prolific, highly touted two-way demon that has been known to make life in the NBA world a living hell for every single archetype in the league because of how skilled and versatile they are at nearly every single aspect on the court. Worst case scenario for him is, oh man, goddamn, he may have like the worst case scenario out of everybody in this video. My man's could be a major flop in the league and make everyone who is rooting for him and expecting great things for him once he enters the league, like me, look stupid, leaving me in my little old chair looking like a buffoon. It's really not fair how risky this man is. So the worst case scenario for him is being at best a 10 points per game scorer throughout his career in the NBA, coming nothing close to his full potential. Ja Morant. The best case scenario for this star-studded prospect is that he holds or at least threatens to hold the title of becoming the best or second best PG in the NBA once he's at his peak. His vision off of the pick and roll and Spidey-like senses when it comes to reading defenses can rack him up hella points and hella assists, leading him to put up staggering, sensational MVP season-like numbers, throwing up averages of 25 and 10, and being a regular guest in the All-NBA first or second team list. Best case scenario, that is what his future holds. The hybrid passer, scorer, and slasher mentality is what can propel him to another level in the league. Worst case scenario though for him is that he becomes an average starter in the league, which is still good, but it just isn't what everybody expected. Instead of throwing up averages of 25 and 10, you may see some like 14 and 6, being nothing more than a fourth option on a championship level team. Now on to the 7'2" guard-like center Bol Bol. Best case scenario for this abnormal prospect is that he becomes what many of his believers believe what he can be. Literally a demigod, a walking mismatch. One of the most impossible players to guard of all time. He doesn't even have to be all that elite to me. If he can average somewhere around 20 to 25 points per game and be a perennial all-star, I believe that we shouldn't expect anything more than that from him, considering the odds that he's facing and the possible injury implications guys of his height has gone through. That right there, that tendency of big guys getting injured most of the time, if those implications comes knocking on his door a lot earlier than we all expected, then worst case scenario for him in the league is that he just becomes a rotational piece off of the bench. Nothing more than just a tool used in specific key moments. Speaking of tools, this is the best possible transition I guess that I could have came up with to my favorite prospect in the draft, Jarrett Culver, the human toolbox. You need a defender? Culver is your guy. You need a facilitator? Culver is your guy. You need someone who can be a lethal scorer? Culver is still your guy. At best case scenario, a top 10 to 15 player in the NBA one day. A consistent all-star year in and out. All-NBA second and maybe even third team type of talent is steaming from this man here. And I believe he has what it takes to potentially be a second option one day on a championship level team. If and only if everything goes right. If things go wrong though, very wrong. After all the praise that I gave this man in multiple videos, I really just might go into depression. Worst case scenario, he still could be a starter level player or even maybe a sixth man. Still good, but just underwhelming. Darius Garland. Best case scenario for this PG is that he becomes a perennial all-star, top 6 and 7 elite scoring point guard in the NBA in his prime. Worst case scenario is that he becomes extremely mid in the league and is a sixth man type player throughout his career. Once again, not bad, but damn, considering where he's about to get drafted at. That's not good either. Now, the last player in this video is Sekou Doumbia. Best case scenario for Sekou is that he just simply rises up to the projection many have placed on him. An elite wing and fringe all-star player. Almost a Pascal Siakam clone. Worst case scenario for him is that instead of turning into a Pascal Siakam type player, he instead becomes a Luke Mbah-a-Moute type talent, if that is talent to you. That was my best and worst case scenario for each of these 2019 NBA Draft prospects. Once they go ahead and enter the beast that the NBA is for years and years and years to come. As great and pleasant it would be to have no worst case scenarios exist out of this video, some sadly, or maybe even several players, will steer towards the worst case scenario storyline rather than the best. I'm gonna look back at this in what, 8 to 10 years from now, and damn bro, there's a real chance that I'm bald by then. Damn, that is gonna be pretty tough. But anyways, let me know your best and worst case scenarios for these draft prospects today down below in the comment section. Right before you leave, I wanna say thank you. Thank you for coming over here on my channel today and seeing what I have to talk about today on this channel. And right before you leave, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, comment, and share this video with all your other friends around the world. And also, I'm almost done. Go ahead and subscribe to the Hoopscast channel down below in the description and comment section, and also go ahead and copy your hat and follow me on my Instagram. My final request, I promise. I'm leaving you alone now. Make sure you have a great day, and until then, I'll get right with you.
No way, no way. Remember back when I couldn't get a play. No home, I ain't have a place to stay. I got to work, made the surf free the way. So my girl, who'd ever thought?